Hey Auguste,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm here in Istanbul with the student exchange experience. So, yeah, very happy to be here.
Yeah, and your parents are visiting, aren't they?
Yes, as my
Oh,
parents are visiting me this week, so a lot of things planned and a lot of things to do. Yeah. And how are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. I'm in the UK. It's been raining for 3 days, um, but I'm going home for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to see my family as well.
Yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah, yeah. So today I want to talk with you about fundraising, because there's a lot of people watching this video who have been presented with the task of fundraising for the council summit. And since you are head of our global fundraising team, who better to talk to than you? So, yes, for people who do not know me, I am Jiska. I am from the Netherlands. And I am 28. I am in the UK since 2 years because I started working with Will Merritt, and therefore I moved to the UK. And yeah, I've been working with Auguste for 2 years already, and I'm loving it. So I wanted to call her in today because she's the expert on fundraising for now. Auguste, do you want to give a quick introduction and to why you are an expert in fundraising?
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm very excited about all of you participating in the council summit. I know that fundraising is a challenge, but also it can be an exciting one. Um, my own experience with fundraising has been very varied, and I will share it with you in a few moments. So I'm Auguste. I am originally from Lithuania. I'm 21 years old, and I've been with World Merit for the last 3 years, I think. And my journey started with me becoming part of global fundraising team, and later on. As I was a member of this team for a while, I became the head of a global fundraising team, and now we are this team who's responsible for helping World Merit to acquire funds. And we have two sub-teams. One is responsible for acquisition and the other one is responsible for community support. And we will be working with you throughout your fundraising efforts. I myself also had to fundraise for Merit 360. It was the first Merit 360 that was hosted by World Merit, and I myself had to struggle through this experience. So, for example, for what I did to acquire funds for Merit 360 was I organized free um, fundraising events in Lithuania. They were global bake sales. During which we told people about World Merit, at the same time giving them out cupcakes and cakes and cookies, and at the same time asking them to donate as much as they want. And that helped to fundraise part of part of my participation fee. But that was not enough, so I also had to do other kinds of fundraising. For example, I reached out to funds who care about the same areas as World Merit cares. I reached out to local politicians who talked about youth empowerment, and also to private companies who, for example, sell ecological products, so therefore they care about certain SDGs. And this way, presenting myself and enhancing that contact with them, I managed to fundraise for my Merit 360 participation fee. And it wasn't an easy journey, but it was the one that brought results, and that's how it is with fundraising.
Yeah, so in the end, you were able to get all the funds together for Marathon 60 in New York.
Yes, yes, and and of course I was very happy because it allowed me to be part of Merit 360, but also it provided me with that experience and that knowledge throughout the process.
What do you
Uh,
mean by experience and knowledge?
well, by doing fundraising, you get you have to face certain challenges, and which you probably would not face naturally. So it is going to important people, business people, presenting yourself, coming up with a pitch, practicing your public speaking skills, doing presentations and etc. Doing research. Research is a very big part of fundraising.
What do you mean by research?
So there are three main types of fundraising. So, and we will be covering them hopefully today. So there's crowdfunding, there are fundraising events, and there's third part, which is approaching private institutions, applying for funds, approaching individuals, and trying to get corporate sponsorship. So for you to find the best audience for your fundraising, you have to do a lot of research. You have to research companies which are local in your country, maybe in your city, but also you might be looking for companies which are relevant for you, not necessarily geographically wise, but with regards to the area you're working on. So proper research about those companies, about those individuals is very important. So first of all, for you to know what are your options, who you can approach. Once you receive their contacts, then you have to dig in deeper to not only have their contacts, but also be familiar with what those companies care about, what that individual cares about, what are their passions, what are the criteria for when they are providing, giving funds or sponsoring somebody. So it's, first of all, you have to do research to know what are your opportunities and options and possibilities, but also then you have to dig in deeper to make sure that your pitch is personalized to an individual you're approaching or to a company you're approaching. So your message would be in line with what they care about. So that's
And how many times have you been rejected on your quest to get funds together? Was that a common thing, or what is your experience?
Yeah, and everyone who does fundraising can say the same thing, that no is a normal part of this experience. You will be receiving no as an answer. And it does not mean that you are not succeeding. It's just a normal part of the process. So you just have to keep on contacting people and trying to reach out to them. And sometimes, for example, you reached out to somebody and they say, no, we cannot provide you with this amount of money, but that you can still get some benefit out of that. You can ask that person that, okay, you might not be able to provide me with the money, but maybe you can share my message on your social media. Maybe you can share with me contacts of two people who might be interested in supporting me. Maybe you can open your gates to your network. Or if not with money, maybe you can support me with certain products in case it is a company.
Or a venue or table and chairs if you need that for your event.
Or knowledge. For example, one of the ways you can fundraise is organizing, for example, a conference tackling problems relevant to your local community. Maybe you can reach out to people who cannot give you money, but they can, for example, give a lecture in that conference for free, and therefore you can ask for a fee for participants to pay for their participation in the conference, and this way you can fundraise money from the conference.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your experience. And now that we've done this, I'd like to ask you first, what are the frequent asked questions from community members who are busy fundraising and are a bit like inexperienced and trying to find their way around fundraising? And for everybody who's watching, after we've covered the frequent asked questions, we'll go into the two main documents that Augusti and I have prepared for you in order to support you and give you an actual guide on how to start your fundraising efforts.
Yeah, so before anyone starts fundraising, it sounds like this very big dooming task. Important people, business people, but once you start to do it, you see that it's very not a complex thing. It's pretty simple. It definitely requires a lot of effort, but it is simple. So you just follow certain steps, a certain structure, and expect to succeed. So as you mentioned, we have
the structure that you're talking about.
Well, I would say that there are a lot of them, depending on which type of fundraising we're talking about. So probably the third step is for you to understand which fundraising way is the best for you. Is it crowdfunding? Is it fundraising event? Or is it approaching private companies and individuals?
Or
So the best way to,
those.
or what?
Or a combination of those.
Yes, definitely. But you have to kind of step back a bit and evaluate your possibilities, your network, and even the time you have. So, for example, if you're one individual, it might be a bit difficult for you to organize a fundraising event. But if you're a group, it might be easier. It also depends on the timing. For example, now it is a great time to approach private companies because their fiscal year is coming to an end, meaning that they have to kind of use all of their budget, and they're also forming budget for the next year. So it is a great time for you to come in and present yourself to them, so they would include sponsoring you into their budget. Also, crowdfunding could be an option for you if you have a good network. If you haven't used it before, because doing crowdfunding several times in a row might be difficult because you might exhaust your resources. So if you haven't done crowdfunding before, coming up with a good campaign, maybe a small video, good proposal, and then sharing it on your social media, that could be a way for you.
What do you post on your social media?
So, for example, you can set up a crowdfunding page. There are a lot of them. You can choose the one which is best for you. It can be Total Giving. It can be Indiegogo. So you set up your page. There's the whole questionnaire in there. You can paste images there. You can paste videos there where you would present who you are, what are you fundraising for, how much money do you need, and then you use your social media to share that. So it can be your Facebook, so you can just publish your page, but it can also be private messages with more personalized presentation. So you can use your network there that way. Also, you can ask people to share your crowdfunding page, this way making this the whole network.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. And sorry for interrupting.
Oh, no worries. I think that if you have enough time, you can set up a fundraising event. You have to be really smart about where you're doing that and when you're doing that. So, for example, why I think that our global bake sale worked was because we chose the most popular places in the capital. We chose popular places among tourists. It was a weekend. I think it was either Friday or Saturday, so it means a lot of people were in the streets. So we had an opportunity to approach a lot of people and therefore, ask them to support us. So a good place with a proper audience could be a defining factor for your fundraising event. Also, good timing is very important. So before Christmas, there are a lot of charity events. So on one hand, it means that people are more willing to donate, but on the other hand, it means that you have a lot of competition. So once again, you have to figure out what your context is at that time and how much competition you would have. Yes.
Okay, and what are other questions that you typically get from people who are fundraising for one of the World Merit events?
Mm-hmm. Well, I would say that there are a lot of questions. Sometimes people are afraid that they will not be taken seriously or recognized as somebody who actually fundraises for this particular cause. So to kind of overcome that challenge, we as World Merit, what we can do is kind of provide those letters of support saying that this group or this individual is actually fundraising for example, Council Summit. Also, sometimes those companies which are supporting the individual who's fundraising, they want to receive some recognition. So very oftenly, that a person who's fundraising asks, what can I present to them? What can I offer? So you have to really work on your value proposition. So one of the things you can do is, just provide that company or individual with a certificate, which they can hang on the wall, saying, that this company, did an act of, social responsibility and supported this individual. That contributes to their image, and probably as the best thing that you can offer to a company is improving their image. So it can be also, sharing their brand on your social media, or attaching them kind of to World Merit brand, and this way showing that they're doing corporate social responsibility.
Yeah. And what are people's struggles? Like, other than the questions, what do people come back with when they say this doesn't work out? Or
a lot of people say that fundraising doesn't really work in their country, that we don't have a culture of fundraising, or people are not willing to donate money. And I from actually meaning that fundraising is just challenging in itself. So just because you receive a no doesn't mean that your country or your city is not fitable for fundraising. Yeah, it just means that it is challenging, and you just have to then try to approach more individuals and companies, look funds which announce contests. Maybe your local municipality is announcing a contest for projects. So your local merit council is working on solving problems relevant for your community, meaning that by your municipality or some kind of fund investing in you, they are actually investing into community. So it really makes sense for them to support you. You just have to clarify that the value that you're bringing, that them investing in you is not just you having fun, but it's also you then being empowered and having tools to give back to the community and solve the problems within your local community.
Yeah, so, I'm also always surprised by how many people in my network actually want to contribute, but they don't have the funds, like the complete funds to go to an event. They don't have the time. They don't have maybe I don't know, there are situations that's holding them back, but that doesn't mean that they still want to contribute. So if you tell people that you are definitely going to go, you give up your time, you're spending the money for the flights and the fees and everything, people are very grateful that you take that step on behalf of the whole community, or on behalf of the family, or on behalf of the school or the friends. And then you give them the opportunity to contribute in a way to a better environment by giving you the money, so you can do something with it and then come back with knowledge that everybody benefits from.
Yes, so you're like kind of a solution.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah, because it feels out of reach for people to create a better world for themselves. But then if someone goes to an event to get all the training and the knowledge and the experience and the networks and everything, many people want to contribute, and they want to feel that they are a part of it, and it engages more people in your community as well, because then when you come back and you want to implement all your ideas, you have people ready that understand you, that want to get involved in your project, and want to give maybe some more money when you're back, or provide the venue or the tables and the chairs when you are gonna do an event. So it's also, fundraising is such an amazing way to get people involved in, you can be a part of this because I am taking the lead, but that doesn't mean that I'm doing this alone. I will need a whole team and a whole support network that is into this as well. So this is all coming out of you asking for money. So people underestimate how you do other people a favor sometimes as well.
Yeah, and in this case, I would also kind of recommend to fundraise not individually, but as a group. Individual fundraising can also work, but when you are fundraising as a group, you seem more credible. You, as a group, you can provide more value to your community or to whoever who's supporting you. Then, therefore, it makes more sense for them to invest in this bigger power,
Yeah,
even if it
you have
means
more
putting
credibility.
more. Yeah, even if it means putting more money into the whole group compared to putting money into one individual, but still, as a group, you have a bigger potential to give back to the community, and therefore you seem more trustworthy and more credible.
And this works especially for the Council Summit because we are inviting people to come as a team and as a group. So you already have people around you who have the same desires and that have the same goal, and will also fundraise for the same goal and the same target. So we would definitely want to recommend to have your team join you in fundraising from the very beginning.
Yes, and also, what's like I mentioned previously, doing a good research is kind of the base for a successful fundraising. So another thing I would suggest you is look back on maybe what you have already done. Maybe as a local merit council or as an individual, you have volunteered somewhere before, or you have helped somebody before. So maybe you can come back to those sources and now come back to them and say, that maybe I provided you with some value in the past, and maybe now you can support me. Whether it would be in, with regards to money, with regards to some kind of resources, or just,
or promotion and marketing.
Yes, yes.
Or talking to their networks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To have a bigger reach. Yeah. So don't forget to use those sources. Also, there should be there are a lot of funds who aim to empower young people, who support leadership or those leadership programs, or funds who support projects regarding local communities and empowering local communities. So those are they should be on your list, because this is exactly who you are, and this is exactly what Council Summit aims to do. Council Summit aims to empower you with the tools and knowledge to then go back to your community and make the world better. And that's why you're of value, and that's why there are a lot of people who would be willing to support you and invest in you if you show it to them, if you present it in the right way.
And I think, people don't buy products, people buy energy, and people buy people first. And if they like you, people give money, or people buy products from people that they know, like, and trust. So it's all about you presenting yourself as a trustworthy person with right intentions. If the World Merit story is resonating with you, you should be able to bring across that message well. So that's my next question to you, Auguste. You talked about value proposition earlier on. What do you suggest is a good value proposition? How would you present World Merit, or how have you in your past used World Merit as a brand? And what did you think would people like to hear about World Merit? Because it's quite a big concept. So what are the things that you definitely need to mention when you ask people for money?
Well,
or is that different for each?
I think that because World Merit is such a broad phenomenon of empowering local communities and individuals by providing them with opportunities, we actually can target a lot of different audience members. And depending who we are targeting, probably you want to present them maybe a certain fragment of World Merit. Just like if you're fundraising with regards to SDGs, you have to concentrate on a more specific SDG for you to succeed. So I would probably, when going to a potential sponsor, I would probably not bother with trying to present the whole World Merit structure or all of the stuff that we have done. Rather focus on what that company or that individual cares about, and then look back on what World Merit has done in that area, what kind of value we have created. For that, you can look into action plans, what kind of action plans were created through 2 Merit 360 programs. I think this is a great proof of showing that World Merit can create value. Also, you can look into the events that were held by World Merit, or look how many people were reached through World Merit campaigns and initiatives.
Or go to the United Nations website and see, properly read all the sub goals that belong to all the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, and know a little bit more about what they actually stand for, and then look at the mission and vision statement of a company, or think of what kind of people would like to hear more information about which type of SDG. Because essentially, as a local mayor council, you are given the freedom to work on any SDG that you think is most, pressing to work on. So it's likely that people experience, if I'm in a country where there's a lot of floods, it's likely that not just me, but everybody around me is suffering from overflowing rivers or seashores that are unsafe. So if you target your message, if you tweak it into, I'm going to make sure that we are safe living at the riverside or the seashore, then many people will like this idea. And then it's much more closer to home for those people than when I would say, even though we live at the seashore, I'm going to focus on human rights. Then maybe people might think, that's not really relevant. I don't really feel I should contribute to this. So also be smart about which SDGs you want to highlight in your story. And if a company works on climate change, then highlight the SDGs around climate change. If a company is working on clean water and sanitation, then make sure that you know a little bit more about those SDGs and use that in your pitch to explain what World Merit does by giving examples towards this specific SDG. You can still say that we are like a global community and everybody around the world is working hard on, making these changes around all the SDGs, and everybody is enjoying their opportunities to become a more knowledgeable person yourself and gain the leadership skills to benefit from this. But then again, you're doing this by taking action in your community. So don't be shy, and don't forget to tell people that you're actually making a difference in the places that you and the people around you live in, because that's what we stand for, the local action. That's just something very important, I think, to remember.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. And I think that, the baseline of your value proposition is that by somebody sponsoring you, they're not investing just in you, but they're investing in you becoming more empowered to give back to the community. And how specifically you will do that, you have to figure out yourself, and you have to figure out, like Jiska said, what are the most relevant problems in your community, and therefore you have to find your way how you will give back to the community. But the baseline is that by somebody investing in you, they're actually investing in problems in your community being solved and in bettering life around you.
And again, this is easier for the Council Summit than Merit 360, because Merit 360 is about having an international group of people working on one SDG, whereas the Council Summit is especially for our councils who are coming from one city, come to the Council Summit to gain all the knowledge and the training about leadership around sustainability, and then go back to their city to implement everything. So this applies even more for Council Summit participants than for Merit 360.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for answering all these questions and giving us an insight in what the struggles are people come to you with, and how you then answer them, and what you've seen over the last couple of years in terms of what works and what doesn't work, and all the knowledge that you've been, and all the research that you've been doing yourself. And for everyone who's watching this, we now want to share a couple of documents that we've prepared. And Auguste, I want to ask you to talk us through the first document. Let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so Auguste, would you do us the honor and explain to us what this document is.
So
And I'm the clicker here, so please tell me when I have to slide up.
okay, so well, you can just kind of scroll through the fundraising handbook. I don't think that we would be able to cover all of it, or that it would make sense, but I want just to introduce it real quick. So it is one of the documents that we will be sharing with you guys. It provides with the basic knowledge about how to fundraise, about different types of fundraising, which I briefly mentioned, and also covers more specific questions like how to approach a company, how to write an email to them, how to write your value proposition, and that kind of stuff. So for you to be, well prepared for fundraising, you definitely should look into this document properly and try to get most of it. We have one more document, Iska, if you can show that real quick, which is called SDG specific fundraising guide. And in case you're a bit lazy with your imagination, this one provides you with examples of what kind of events, fundraising events to organize, and it has several suggestions for each SDG. In case you're working on, zero hunger, these kind of events can be relevant for in order for you to fundraise. So we definitely encourage you to, use your imagination and also be adaptable to your surroundings, and therefore come up with the best fundraising event example relevant for your community. But also these are sources of inspiration and examples you can definitely use. So once again, a lot of information is here, and you should definitely look for it. It will definitely help you to fundraise. It will ease your fundraising.
And when will people receive these documents?
When?
Yes.
Well, Global Fundraising team will be here to support you in your fundraising efforts. So I personally think that it is easier to help with fundraising when we have specific situations instead of talking broadly about it. So our community support team will be getting in touch with you guys, and hopefully we can work together. Hopefully we can collaborate, and we can answer your more specific questions or help you with more specific tasks. And that's when we will also provide you with the documents, and hopefully we can establish this partnership as a strong one and a productive one.
And I just quickly want to add that the Global Fundraising team is there for everyone who has paid their deposit. So first you apply, and then you pay your deposit, and then your application is finished. And then we present you with the Global Fundraising team. There will be an email coming to your email inbox from us with this recording, and then also the two documents and the contact details of the Global Fundraising team. And then you'll be assigned one person from the Global Fundraising team who will be your fundraising coach, and then you can color your fantasies around fundraising and get started. And it's a really fun exercise as well. If you do manage to get fundraising, then from my experience, because I also have experience in fundraising, in the beginning it took a lot of thinking on how to go about fundraising. But then when you get the first tiny bits of money in, you get motivated real quickly, and you see that it's done all over the world, and it doesn't apply just for rich countries. There's a lot of ways you can go about fundraising. And there's always some money to find somewhere. It comes down to your story and the energy that you put into it, and the efforts, and it's just when your drive is clear, and if you know why you want to do this, then you're able to express your story to other people and bring across your message properly.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And one more thing to add is that my example kind of, I guess, proves what Jiska just said. When I first had to fundraise, I remember for first 4 months I was like planning and coming up with how I will approach companies and etc. And then I remember in the last month, in few weeks, I was like, okay, I have to do this now or never. And that's when I actually went, and when I met people, when I talked to them, when I actually engaged in conversations. And during that 1 or 2 weeks, I managed to do so much more than compared to the previous months where I was kind of slowly getting to the fundraising. So actually going there, working on the field, talking to people, setting up meetings, whether that would be Skype meeting or real life meeting, that's when you get results.
Yeah.
And that's what I would like you to take out of this session, that once you go there and you do it, you get results. Even if you receive a no as an answer, yeses will always be there if you continue on working on it.
Okay, I think we covered quite a lot, and obviously if people have questions about fundraising, they can always ask us once they've started the application process. And I also want to let people know that every now and then we will have a Facebook Live on our Facebook page, and some of the topics are around fundraising. So keep an eye on the Facebook page. And we hope to see you guys there. Anything to add, Auguste, or shall we call it a day?
I'm just happy for this happening, and I'm looking forward to contacting all the people now listening to us.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing, and talk to you very soon.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.